If your bush is burning, please seek medical attention.
Hallelujah, I am saved, I'm so glad I am. Glory, 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 glory to God.
Hello, heathens. Welcome to Girls Gone Godless, the podcast where we ask the important questions like, why the fuck is eating the flesh and drinking the blood of a dead guy not considered witchcraft? I'm Aaliyah.
I'm Christina.
And I'm Noe.
Today we're diving into the wild ritual-filled world of Christianity, a religion that claims to hate witchcraft, but seems to borrow straight from its spellbook. Talking animals? Check. Blood rituals? Check. A man rising from the dead? Check. It's definitely not a cult or magical and totally true and normal. Let's get into it.
She's not a Christian!
She could be a Jew and believe in
It
God.
doesn't matter. She's tampering in dark-sided stuff.
How did this episode idea come to you? Would you say it was a little bit magical?
I would say there was definitely absolutely divine inspiration because last night I could not sleep. And I had already mentioned to the two of you that I wanted to do an episode about this topic, about how there's such a fine line between what we call Christianity and what they call witchcraft. But last night I was divinely inspired because I could not sleep. And so I had created a whole list full of bullet points of examples in the Bible or Christianity that to me sound very witchy. And so I made this list just last night. And then today, out of nowhere, not really out of nowhere, we talk all the time, but no, we texted us saying, hey, can you guys hop on? Can we record an episode? And I was like, yeah, oh my God, guess what? I was just divinely inspired by divine manifestation, inspiration to have this episode. And so I sent Noe my bullet point list and look, here we are.
Yep.
Here we are. And I turned it into a document. It might not be the correct formatting of a document for Aaliyah, but nonetheless, it's a document. And can we read the description of your notes that I put?
Yeah, can we read it?
Yeah. I put Aaliyah's big, perfect, beautiful notes. Believe me, everybody knows Aaliyah makes the best notes. Everyone always says this. Nobody does notes like her. It's incredible. They say, Aaliyah, how do you do that with the notes? I can't do a Trump impression, but
we all know who you're talking about.
They say, Aaliyah, how do you do that with the notes? It's incredible.
They're huge.
Nobody
huge
does
notes.
notes like her.
I make the best notes. Nobody can note the way that I note. Nobody can note the notes the way that I notate the notes.
Not even China.
China. Okay, so let's just dive on in to the water rituals or the blood rituals, or let's just dive on into any of the rituals.
All right.
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
So let's get into what the Christians have stolen, like a thief in the night, from paganism, from quote unquote witches, and, just from all the stuff before Christianity, shall we?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that sticks in my mind is the obsession with blood and like the obsession with cutting into blood and flesh and foreskins, especially the foreskins.
Right. But then women's blood is considered so dirty and disgusting. But a man's blood, we're going to chug that shit.
Right. Or lamb's blood is used to protect you or your firstborn that they want to murder.
Yeah, the angel of death wants to murder your firstborn, so you better protect your house with covering the doorframe with a pure lamb's blood.
Because that doesn't sound witchy at all.
Not even a little bit.
And I mean, blood has been used in a lot of other religions and other cultures, but they seem to just take it to a weird, creepy level with Jesus's blood.
Well, yeah, I mean, they consume his blood every Sunday in the form of communion, right?
Right. And they hate gay people and they hate witches, but they want to get on their knees and gobble the body of a dead guy. Girl.
She said, gobble the body of a dead
Gobble.
guy.
Gobble, gobble.
You're gay and you're a witch. Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird.
So, conversations with animals.
Yeah. So the first conversation with an animal that I think of is in the Garden of Eden, right? So like Adam and Eve are talking to the serpent as the serpent is tempting her to question God and eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And I just kind of feel like that's inherently magical to be in this garden and to talk to a snake. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, yeah. That's fucking magic if I've ever heard. And the talking donkey, the Shrek donkey in the Bible too.
Oh yeah, Balaam's donkey in Numbers.
Balaam.
Yeah, that's the person who
Why must you beat me so? Or something like that, right?
I love when you do your little voices. It's the best thing ever. Yeah, so having a familiar is fucking witchy, but having a whiny talking ass donkey and a fucking snake telling you to eat an apple. What?
Well, that and there was the talking pigs too in the New Testament.
Oh, right, the zombie pigs, right?
Yes. So Jesus casts out the demons from the pigs, and the demons speak through the pigs, saying, "What have you done with us, Son of God? Have you come here to torture us before the appointed time?" Yeah, again, very normal thing to do, to be talking to animals and doing demon shit.
Right. And the donkey wasn't demon, right? The donkey was just a talking donkey. Because so far, like the semen, what the fuck? No, the serpent. That was serpent and
The semen serpent.
It's not wrong.
that was serpent and demon put together. Okay. The serpent was the devil, correct?
Allegedly.
We don't want to get sued by the devil.
Right.
Everyone's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, even the devil.
The demon pigs were demons put into pigs. So far, those are two like demonic and evil kind of things. But are all the talking animals like a demon thing, or was the donkey just like a talking Shrek donkey?
So the donkey was a talking donkey, but the donkey's, I almost called him the donkey's daddy, owner, master, was going out to go do a curse on the donkey. So he was using the donkey to go do bad shit, to do curses, which again, curses. Are you kidding? Witchcraft? More witchcraft?
Right. Yeah, that's very fucking witchy.
As Balaam was riding his donkey on the way to carry out his curse, the animal saw an angel standing in the way. So she stopped and refused to go forward. This happened 3 times, and Balaam, who didn't see the angel, beat the donkey each time for not going forward.
You have made a fool of me. Why have you beat me these 3 times? If only I had a sword in my hand, I'd kill you right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I remember that. I know things.
Look at you out here knowing things. Yeah, so is the donkey a neutral character in this? Because the donkey didn't want to go forward when they were stopped by the angel? I know, there's just a lot of, there's just talking animals.
Yeah.
And if you're talking to animals, that's kind of witchy. I mean, look at Harry Potter, because didn't he have an owl that he talked to or something? And then the Christians are like, don't watch Harry Potter.
Right.
Right. But then, did you see in my notes, I talk about this exact thing.
Do you? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
Just the absolute hypocrisy of Christians to call anything they don't like witchcraft. Meanwhile, they're gnawing on the Wonder Bread corpse of a Middle Eastern socialist from however fucking long ago that was. Also, they're telling their kids, this is the blood of Christ, or speaking in tongues. But they'd call things like SpongeBob or Harry Potter demonic or witchcraft. And then, side note, now that J.K. Rowling is a huge fucking turf cunt derogatory, all of a sudden the Christians and the right are like, fuck yeah, Harry Potter, cry about it, liberals. So witchcraft isn't actually a deal breaker as long as the woman who wrote it is a transphobic cow. Got it.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's my notes about that.
That's scripture. Put that in the Triple G scripture book.
Totally. It's the same as anything, like Teslas too. Remember they used to call people hippies who wanted electric cars, and they were like, you care about the environment, you're a fucking idiot. And then now all of a sudden they're like blowing Elon, they're like, wait, we want to all buy Teslas?
Electric cars, but make it Nazi? Wait,
right.
I like this.
Yeah.
You're on to something.
That sign me up.
Cherry picking their shit just like they're perfect at doing.
Wait, what? The Christians doing cherry picking? I would never guess that. I would never imagine. Not only do they talk to animals, but they talk to plants too, which to me, as somebody who identifies as witchy, I talk to my plants.
Right. But when I do it, I'm a weirdo.
Right.
Ugh. But when Moses does it, he's the leader of the people or whatever.
Yes. The short time that I tried to be Wiccan, I was very talk to planty type of person. That's not where I wanted to go with that. I need to wake the fuck up.
Did you, while you were talking to plants, did you ever come across a burning bush?
I did not. There's a cream for
You
that.
should go talk to the plants that I planted in your yard.
I should.
And tell them, live
Live through the winter.
No, you don't have to talk to them. You just have to water them once in a while.
Just every once in a while.
The
Ah.
sky's going to do that for me tomorrow.
No, this is true.
And
This is true. You don't have to water in the winter.
I mean, that's very magical. My plants need to be watered
Yes.
and the sky is going to open up and water them.
But did you pray for it? I mean, manifest. I mean, pray. I mean, what's the difference?
Right. Did you do an incantation?
I did not.
Did you perform a spell in the form of being down on your knees in front of your altar and ask a higher power for something and offer it something in return for the thing that you want? Because that's what happens. And when witches do it, it's manifestation or spell work. But when Christians do it, it's prayer.
Yes. I did not, because I do not have an altar, because I do not worship anything, because I am a godless heathen. So yeah, talking to plants. So we got burning bush, which there's a cream for that, Moses.
If your bush is burning, please seek medical attention.
Yes. Are there any other talking to plants hallucinations from people who were obviously taking
Oh,
mushrooms?
the whole
or-
thing is a hallucination.
Oh, honey, the land.
Like you're walking through the desert, you probably don't have clean water. You're probably eating plants that you don't know if they're poisonous or not. And then all of a sudden a fucking bush catches on fire in front of you. And now you make laws about my body.
Right. The river is blood. Frogs are falling from the sky. Our pets' heads are falling off.
I do laugh every year or every 7 years or 4 years or whatever the fuck those, what are they called? Those bugs.
Cicadas?
Cicadas come out. And I
Okay.
just always think all the Bible people are going to be like,
It's a plague.
Even though it's science will tell you that it happens every few years.
Yeah, but they don't believe in science. They believe in miracles.
They believe in magic.
Right.
But don't
No,
call it
Science is
magic.
of the devil.
Don't call it magic. It's a miracle.
Miracles.
I gotta pee. I'm sorry.
Go pee.
Yeah. Go pee.
She's got to go pee.
Go piss, girl. I'm gonna mute myself. I don't think you'll be able to hear me.
But what if we wanted to hear you? Oh, she doesn't care if we wanted to hear her or not.
I hate the word. I hate the world. That was a Freudian slip if I ever heard one. No, I hate the word miracle because it's tied to Christianity and
It is. Because they're the only ones that use that. No one else is calling them miracles. I'm losing my mind. Don't just my whole mind.
don't lose your hole.
My whole mind.
I'm back.
Yeah, no, it's gone. My mind is gone. Okay, that's good. Just checking. Thank you.
What's wrong?
My mind, I've lost it.
Join the club.
It's my favorite club.
What about those miracles?
Those miracles. It's one of those spirituality words that gives me the cringe because I just think of religion when I hear it. And we have so much science to back up all the shit that they consider miracles. Like, why don't they understand that now? Babies are not miracles. Somebody finished inside of somebody and then a sperm met an egg and then cells multiplied and then they grew. It's amazing. Don't get me fucking wrong, but it's not a miracle.
You heard that. Christina says it's not good enough for her if you create a human. That ain't shit. That is not a miracle.
That is not a miracle. That is fucking science. It's amazing.
It's fucking science. You're right.
It is. It is fucking science. Yes. And you know what is a miracle? IVF is a miracle because that is like
Or it's
like
science
the
that I can
amazingness
explain
of-
to you really well.
right. Yeah, like it's science that blows my mind every time.
IVF is pretty great. I am very grateful that IVF exists because that's how I have my child. But do you think they had IVF in the times of Jesus? Because how is it an immaculate conception if Mary was a virgin and she gave birth to a baby? That sounds witchcraft or science. So yeah, it must be magic, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, the whole lore around Jesus's birth seems very magical and witchcrafty to me because first of all, there's the whole pregnancy thing, which like, don't even get me started. But then 3 magical guys used the stars to find a woman who just magically got pregnant and just gave birth to a god baby and brought it incense and gold as an offering. Sounds like witchcraft.
Right. And how did they know that was happening?
The stars.
Didn't an
I don't
angel
know.
come down and tell them?
Or was it another one of those like hallucination things?
Yeah, like
Mm.
one guy was like, "Hey guys, I heard this dude was born and we need to go give him presents." And of course, men are really shitty gift givers, so like frankincense and myrrh. Come on.
No, those are good
What is
gifts.
myrrh?
It's a type of incense. It's a resin incense.
Is that the shit that the Catholic guy puts in that ball and goes
and swings
down
it
the
around.
line
I
and
think
puff
so.
smoke on people. That's very witchy.
That's very witchy. You're swinging incense around to cleanse a space. That's like the epitome of witchcraft.
I don't understand how they can do all of these weird things and then be like, but my kids can't hear about astrology.
But like they literally found Jesus with astrology, with the stars. But you're saying the zodiac's not real, but you can use the stars to find God baby God, little baby God, a demigod.
In his manger, 8 pounds, 6 ounce, newborn infant Jesus ain't even uttered a word yet.
But he's by some udders because he's surrounded by animals. Again, it sounds like Disney, sounds like witchcraft, sounds like magic.
And who decided they were wise men?
It depends on the translation because I remember reading it as magi, which are magic people.
I love how annoyed you're getting with how much magic there is in the Bible, and then they will straight up look you in your face and say that you're a fucking witch.
It boggles my mind because I could be doing all the same things that they were doing, but it's bad when I do it, but it's holy when they do it. Here I am lighting candles and kneeling and envisioning things and like doing stuff. Like, I don't know. It does piss me off. But it's better to be pissed off than pissed on, as I always say.
So they saw a new star in the east and believed it signified the birth of a king. The star guided them to Jerusalem.
And we just don't question this. They're like, I saw a star. We must follow it. There's a baby.
Something somebody who was high would do.
Yeah.
I would not do that.
Or like tripping out on big hallucinogenic drugs.
Yeah.
Like not marijuana, but I don't know, some kind of fungus.
They had a little too much myrrh.
And all of this to just cover up a story of a teenager getting impregnated by a grown-ass man.
I mean, look at the lengths that they go to cover that up now.
Human sacrifice. This is a big one. You want to tell me that you're not a fucking witch or that witchcraft is devil shit, but human sacrifice is fine as long as it's in the Bible or has to do with God?
It's fine when they do it. Any other culture, horrific.
So this dude, Abraham, his name was Abram. He and his wife, who was named Sarai, they decided to go over to Egypt, okay? Because I guess life was better over there. But since Abraham was old and his wife was younger and was hot, apparently, he was like, oh, I'm going to lie about you being my wife, just be somebody else so then no one will hit on you. Doesn't make sense, but it's fine. Then like the Pharaoh or whoever was like hitting on her and stuff. So then Abraham was like, oh, I'm going to change my name and then you're going to be my wife again. And God's like, okay, cool. And now since you did that, I guess you can have some children because you haven't had children yet. And I want to make sure you have babies. And so Sarah was like, oh, I can't get pregnant or like your sperm's not working for me or something. So like, why don't you have sex with my maid? So her name is Hagar, I think. And so Abraham's like, okay, I guess if you want. She was like, I don't want. But Abraham's like, too bad. God told me to do it. And so Abraham got her pregnant. Then after that, then I guess he was able to get Sarah pregnant too. And so she got pregnant and had some babies. I think, so Hagar got pregnant and had Ishmael. And then Sarah got pregnant and had Isaac and Jacob. Okay. And so God was like, hey, Abraham, I know that I put you through all this bullshit and nonsense. I'm going to put you through a little bit more bullshit and nonsense to test your faith. So I want you to do a human sacrifice of your son. And Abraham's like, yeah, cool.
Right.
I'll do it. I love that. I love human sacrificing my son. And so Abraham took his son, Isaac. They like went up the side of a mountain and Isaac's like, yo, where are we going, Dad? And Abraham's like, we're going to go do the monthly sacrifice that we do, the monthly animal sacrifice that we do. And Isaac's like, okay, but we don't have an animal right now. And Abraham's like, don't worry about it. And so they keep going up the mountain. And I think Isaac's at this point is like, okay, this is kind of sus because my dad said we're going to do the sacrifice and he's looking at me kind of crazy and we don't have a lamb or whatever. Then Abraham gets to the mountain and is getting ready to slit Isaac's throat for the human sacrifice of his son that God told him to do. And then God said, haha, just kidding. Actually, I just was seeing if you would do the human sacrifice that I'm obsessed with, and you were willing to. And so now I'll bless you in other ways. And so then they just walked back home like normal, I guess, after I almost human sacrificed my child. What's for dinner? Should we pick up something? Should we pick up some Arby's on the way or what? And so then God was like, oh my God, thank you so much. for almost doing human sacrifice because I love it. Like he was like edging the human sacrifice of the son because he was like, oh, this was just a sample of what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a remix later and I'm going to human sacrifice my own son later on in the sequel to this book.
Mm-hmm. Right. Pop off, queen.
Yeah. That was just practice human sacrifice for the later human sacrifice of his own son, who is our brother, but also our husband.
Himself.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's a little bit of the human sacrifice. But then there's also like God's obsession with foreskins because he was like, hey, God was like, okay, hey, I'm going to make this club called my servants, my people, my parishioners or whatever. So like, if you want to follow me and be protected by me, you're God. If you're a man, you got to cut a little bit of your foreskin off to prove to me that you're willing to shed blood for me. So the people who are following God or Israelites, they have to cut a little bit of their foreskin to prove to God that they'll do whatever he says because this God, he loves blood and he wants you to be cutting your foreskins off a bit. So that was one time with the foreskins was that's the rules and the law that you have to follow forever and ever to prove your loyalty to God with a little blood sacrifice. And then David had to go collect all those foreskins because God's obsessed with foreskins.
Do 100, but he got 200 because he's an overachiever.
He's obsessed with them, but he hates them.
Like, bring them to me, but cut them off.
Right. I'm going to make you have them, but you got to get rid of them. I was on a rabbit hole about the Yakuza last night, and usually it's just the men in the Yakuza, but there was this one woman. She cut off a finger, and I guess that's pretty common practice in Yakuza to cut off a finger to prove like you're loyal. So kind of same shit.
She cut off her own finger?
She cut off her own finger.
Wow.
So if you want to be in Jesus's gang, foreskin, gone.
In God's gang, because this was even before Jesus.
Right.
It's all the same. Gang.
This was Old Testament that doesn't matter anymore.
Except it matters if you're gay. Yeah.
Right.
Can we talk about how the Christians prosecuted and killed witches? Meanwhile, they're doing the same kind of spooky shit.
Talk about it. Speak on it.
Like the Crusades and stuff.
That happened and God loved it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, do it more. Do it more for me. It's not in the Bible, but like, do it more for me. I like that.
When you do it right there.
Swizzle your hips and let down your hair. No, that whole God guy, he's obsessed with blood because then there's also like the blood over the door frame and like, I don't know, the blood of Christ, the body of Christ. But yeah, women's blood is bad, but men's blood, he loves it. So that sounds kind of gay, actually. So is God a gay witch?
Probably. He just doesn't want other gay witches to exist because he can be the only one. He's the top queen.
It does say he's a jealous God, so I guess he's jealous of all the gay witches.
And what about that guy, Jesus? He was raised from the dead.
He also did another preview where he raised Lazarus from the dead, and he was like, check this out. I just did this. Guess what? Maybe I'll do it again for myself later. That's some magician shit. Like, tell me that's not David Copperfield, David Blaine shit. Like, what do you mean, like, you went inside a little box and came out alive 3 days later? That guy, David Blaine, that does those things where he just hides in the box?
Right.
The magician guy, you know what I'm talking about?
He was alive the whole time.
He's basically Jesus.
Yes. Is there like a false floor beneath the cross? And like, I don't know. They did some pyrotechnics and he fell out and they put a dummy up in his place.
They put him in that cave and there was probably like food and water all set up for him. And he's like,
video games.
He's like, I'm just going to chill in here for 3 days.
But can we talk about it? Because it's not 3 days, it's 48 hours because it's Friday to Sunday.
Oh, right. But what time did he die? Do we know that?
Doesn't matter. Regardless.
But did he even really die? And what did he sacrifice if he came back to life? I'm sorry. He sacrificed one weekend.
Well, and he came out better than before. Like he was glowing and stuff. He had a glow up in that cave. That's witchcraft. That is witchcraft. He was using beauty magic, glamour magic.
Doing Korean skincare. He was on the TikTok shop.
Was the crucifixion just like a really extreme version of microneedling?
It's the PRP, the platelet-rich plasma that they do. Like they like pull blood and then spin it and then inject it into your face. Jesus was basically doing that. He's a skincare queen.
Jesus is a Kardashian. Put that on a shirt.
BBL, Jesus.
Science can fucking prove all of this shit.
Science can prove that Jesus dermaplaned and
Was a
microneedled.
Kardashian.
Like, he just wasn't dead.
He's only mostly dead.
Let's pretend he was dead. Okay, we're
I'm
pretending.
envisioning it.
But then he came back to life because of magic and witchcraft. Because, okay, check this out. Here's my theory. This is my own individual brain. Mary Magdalene was out there doing manifestation shit. Because in my mind, how my brain works is that Mary Magdalene and Jesus, they were together. They were in a relationship together. Okay, because I have a lot of evidence and reasons, but I won't go into it right now. But they were together. That was his wife. Okay, and it also says in the Bible, they was fucking. Okay, and so she was so upset and was out there weeping outside of his cave that she manifested Jesus coming back to life. She healed him. She did her manifestation, did her big one, and brought her man back to life. And they went and lived happily ever after. That's my lore.
End. Yeah. Okay.
Period.
Really stupid question. So this is a different Mary that's not his mom?
Yeah.
Correct.
Mary Magdalene was his lover.
Was his wife.
But they won't say that.
They won't say it.
Because she was a sinful woman.
You know how they talk about and say that she was a prostitute?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay. So it wasn't true. Pope Gregory came up with it in like 500.
Well, I saw that they think she was one of the disciples, but because men took over and revamped the Bible to fit their fucking narrative, that they didn't want a woman to have that much power. So they took her and just turned her into a slutty McSlut.
A prostitute.
Right. You're a prostitute or a witch.
Yeah, but also she was the one that was funding Jesus. She was the one that was making sure that man was fed. She was the one paying the bills. That was his wife, period. Don't tell me otherwise. And so she was out there and she did her big witchcraft and manifested. She said, I want my man back. And so she did that.
Yeah. She probably did some blood magic with her own blood. And that's why it worked.
Probably. That's why it worked, because women have real magic and men have fake magic. Speaking of Jesus rising from the dead or whatever, Easter is celebrated on the Sunday after the first full moon, after spring equinox. So if that's not witchy, I don't know what is. Using the moon as a calendar for your
Why
feast,
they do that?
for your festival,
Right.
because of Ostara.
And who would play her?
An egg?
An egg.
An Easter bunny, obviously. All right. And then the whole thing with rabbits, right? It's all about fertility, and somehow Jesus fucked a bunny and they laid an egg. And that's
Whoa.
Easter.
I like that. That's kinky. No, so what it was is there's the Anglo-Saxon goddess Ostara, and like these were all the symbols of her festival, which is around the time that we celebrate Easter. And so since the Romans were like, okay, we want to control you, but I guess you can keep some of your traditions as long as you weave them in with our traditions. And since the Romans invented Christianity as we know it, they basically co-opted Easter, which again is named after Ostara, who is that Anglo-Saxon goddess of fertility. And so that's the eggs and that's the rabbits. And that's why we have Easter on the first Sunday after the full moon after spring equinox, because that's her festival day.
I've always hated Easter moving around like that because my birthday is March 27th. And so there's years where it falls on my birthday, and I always hated that as a kid. Like, I hated sharing my birthday. Sorry, Noe. I know you have to share your birthday. I don't know. I just felt like I wanted my day to myself, and I didn't want to share it with Jesus. And I hate that whole "he is risen" shit. What the fuck does that mean? I feel like it's not proper grammar.
It's
he
not.
be
There's
risen.
so much.
Risen there, risen here, risen all over the place.
Sounds like jizzin'.
Yeah.
He's risen and risen. That's why Mary Magdalene wanted him back.
Yeah, she's like, give me my man. She said, I'm dick riding my man.
Man, my man, my man.
Love is magic, man. It
Love is magic.
definitely
I agree. So we talked about animals. We talked about plants.
What about their fear of psychics and stuff like that? But then they can just get a
Honey,
feeling and
the
assume that
land.
God delivered a message to them. So they can be psychic, but no one else can. Why?
Well, when they do it, it's called being a prophet. But when the psychics do it, it's called being a psychic.
And do you think the majority of psychics being women has anything to do with them not wanting to hear women talk about things?
No way.
Yeah. So tarot, psychic readings, mediums, all that shit. Whenever I see people asking about that, like in Facebook groups, there's always the Christians that come in are like, don't let the demons in. You're opening a portal to hell, blah, 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 blah. But then it's like, God talks to me. Jesus speaks through me. And that's like totally normal. And, you don't need to go to a mental institution. Like, what?
No, it doesn't make sense because it doesn't fit their narrative. And if they could figure out a way to make it that they got paid off of witchcraft, they would allow it, right?
Yeah.
But it's bad for business.
There was that one guy. What was his name? Fuck.
John something. And he would talk to the dead people.
John Jacob
Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Was his fucking John Edwards.
What about that hoe?
He was very famous, and I feel like I didn't see as much shit about him like I did, with Sylvia Brown, or what was the medium from New Jersey, or what's her name?
Long Island.
Long Island. I wonder if we looked into that, if men are more accepting of male mediums than female.
Like in a gay way, like they're accepting the penis.
Yes. I guess he was just the male fucking version of Sylvia Brown. Why doesn't that sound right when I say it? Sylvia Brown. I don't know.
Connie the
Connie
Land.
the Land. Yeah, because he would work with the FBI and wrote a book and all that shit and had a show. So it was probably, they were like, oh, Sylvia Brown is getting all this attention, so we need to put a dude in there too. Because heaven forbid men watch a female talking about things.
So basically, religion is just men being jealous of giving birth and having really cool, knowledgeable intuition.
Mhm.
And they're like, we want to do that. And yours is evil,
Yes.
right? That's basically it.
Well, yeah, everything's evil because they're
Pretty
obsessed
much.
with the devil. They're obsessed with Satan. I think everything that isn't Christian is automatically devil worship.
No, they are absolutely obsessed. They're obsessed with Satan.
Why are they so obsessed with us?
I was looking into talismans and how
Tell me.
they can have their crosses. They can have their, little saints, their rosaries, or they can light candles. They use incense, like we were saying. They have their little talismans, but like we have talismans or things that we put power into, and we're fucking witches. Crystals, witches.
Right. I just don't know how they think they're so lucky that they were born into the right religion at the right time, and everyone else who does it is just so silly and ridiculous. It's like you're doing the same shit. What about baptism?
That's just water ritual. What do you mean? You go
Right.
in the water and then you come out. You did a cleansing. That's a cleansing ritual. I do that. I don't call it baptism, but
Was it just an attempt to get white people to bathe?
Probably.
Like, they're like, we can't convince them, but maybe if we tell them there's a special, like, mystical man element to it, then they'll get in the water.
It bothers me that you get baptized in clothes.
it's a 2-for-1 because you get to wash your clothes too.
That seems like a sensory nightmare.
Right. Well, yeah, they weren't washing their clothes either. So they're like, just throw the whole person into the river, please. Hold them down for a few seconds. Like, get that stink out.
Yeah, maybe baptism started because everybody was really stinky. And they were like, how can we get these fuckers to not smell so much? Let's just throw them in the river.
Jesus was baptized by a man named John the Baptist, which was his cousin. And so
Any relation between the name and his job? Or is that just a coincidence?
I was thinking the same thing. Like, I know they called him that because he was the one who baptized Jesus.
Like, did he go into baptizing because of his last name? And he's like, this will work great. Or did he get that name bestowed
John
on him
the
because of all the baptizing?
his last name is the Baptist, John the Baptist.
The is the middle name.
Just like Jesus the Christ.
Okay,
Because
so
Christ wasn't his last name.
Right.
You know that, right?
It wasn't. Jesus Christ. Isn't
That's
it
not his
Jesus
last
H.
name.
Christ?
Did he have
Cut
a
the
last
show.
name?
I'm done.
No,
Did he have a
tell
last
us
name?
about
No,
the Baptist.
they didn't have last names back then because there was like 5 people. He was Jesus the carpenter, Joseph and Mary's son. Like, he didn't need a last name.
Okay, I get it now.
Yeah, John the Baptist, who was a baptizer, came down to the River Jordan with his good old cousin Jesus. And they were just They were just having cousin wrestling time in the river, and people saw it. People saw it. It was like, I want to do that too because I'm following Jesus. I'm a follower of this man named Jesus. And so they decided to just do it too. So I think his name was given after the fact. I don't think he was walking around Galilee or whatever as John the Baptist. I think maybe it was after. Maybe it was after. Because the Gospels are written after Jesus was alive. So it's not a firsthand account.
Right. Okay.
You know? The delay is back. The delay is back.
Blame it on the witchcraft.
It is. God is punishing us for talking about witchcraft.
Well, you know what it is? It's because we didn't do a protection spell beforehand, which is what the Christians do when they say that they're going to form a hedge of protection, a hedge of angels around us. That's called, it's literally called hedge magic. There's a type of witch called a hedge witch who does this protection work, and they're just using the same spells in their prayers and calling it a prayer, but it's bad when other people do it. It's bad when we do it.
Right. So it's like Christianity just colonized the beliefs of other people and made it worse and less cool, basically.
Because basically the Romans were like, we want to control. So they put together the Bible and put together Christianity as a form of control. And in order to appease the people they were trying to control, they're like, okay, you can keep this tradition a little bit. So that's how we have Easter. Or you can keep Christmas, or you can keep Yule a little bit. We're just going to call it Christmas instead. And we're just going to weave our stories into your stories because Jesus wasn't even born at Christmas time. Like Joseph and Mary were going back to Bethlehem to be counted in the census, which would occur in the springtime. So there is no way that Jesus was born in December when it had to be the springtime. So there's a lot going on there.
Keep your eggs, keep your bunny, but you just have to believe that Jesus sashayed out of a cave.
Okay. And then you got to eat his flesh.
And drink his blood.
And drink his
Not
blood.
creepy at all.
No.
Totally normal. Definitely not
They're
a
cannibal
satanic
thieves.
ritual.
Yeah. Like if you said to somebody, every week I eat the body of a man and I drink the blood of a man and I light candles and I send my thoughts up into space, you're telling me that doesn't sound like devil worship? Like,
and you read like a book that's thousands and thousands of years old. You gather in a large group. Right. You read a book that's thousands and thousands of years old. You dance around in a circle singing songs, and you fall out and you speak a foreign language that nobody else can understand that sounds like jibber jabber. And then, you do manifestation spell work, asking for things, asking for protection, asking for money, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You offer a sacrifice by using your time that you give to the church or whatever. And then, you drink the flesh of, you don't drink flesh. Maybe you do. I don't know what you do, but you then drink the blood of this man who died. And you eat his flesh, the flesh of a man who died, but it's not his actual flesh, not his literal flesh, but it's flesh that you've transformed from bread using a spell. Hello?
Right.
Yeah.
But if I say, I think men and men should get married and women should get married, then I worship the devil. I'm being influenced by the devil.
No gay shit. You can only eat each other's bodies.
Everything just gets taken so far out of context in the Bible because the phrase or the part where they're talking about with that is like the scripture was just talking about how you shouldn't rape strangers. You shouldn't rape angel strangers.
Angel strangers? Like with wings?
Yeah. So, you know how like God kept making the earth and then people were doing sin and he didn't like the sin, even though he invented the people and he invented the sin. And he knew that they were going to do sin stuff because he knows everything. So you know how he kept doing that? And so he destroyed the world with the flood, and then he destroyed the world. He was going to do it again with fire, with like Lot and Lot's wife. Do you know who I'm talking about? Do you remember there's a story where this man was escaping the land and his wife turned into a pillar of salt because God told her to not look back, and she looked back anyway, and so then he turned her into salt, which salt is like used in witchcraft all the time. So again, but so like right before that happened, the angels Gabriel and Michael came down to the earth to tell Lot what was going to happen, obviously. And so they came to his door, and there was other people at his house, and the other people were like, oh, hey, we're going to rape these angels. And Lot's like, maybe like don't do that, like that's bad. And so that's how we have the term sodomy. And like, have you heard of sodomy? Because that's from Sodom and Gomorrah. And so Lot was like, okay, so like please don't rape these angels. They're going to tell me something important, but like, here's my underage daughters instead.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes.
I mean, that tracks. But these angels are the weird ones with all the fucking eyeballs?
No, these are like human people angels, like like Michael and Gabriel, I think. Not like the seraphim and the
Okay.
Nephim or whatever.
Okay. People with wings.
Yeah. Just regular normal angels, the everyday ones.
Have the Catholics heard this? Not to rape?
Yeah.
Did they get
Yeah.
that part?
It's in there. It's in their Bible too.
Okay,
They have
cool.
extra books.
Cool.
They have different books,
Okay.
but they have that book and that story's in there. Yeah. But it was underage girls. So I don't know if it applies to underage boys or.
Right. Okay.
It wasn't specific enough, so they're like, we found a loophole.
Well, yeah. So basically Lot was saying like, yeah, you can have your way with these underage daughters of mine. So I guess that the Bible condones that. So the Catholics, yeah, they heard it. So it's just angels you can't rape. You can't rape angels.
Good to know. I hate this all so much. It is terrifying that people believe this stuff. I hate it. But see, to me, magic makes sense. Or like, maybe not magic itself, but like energies. Take Wicca, for example. It makes sense to me that nature, like if you're going to worship something that is tangible, right? So trees and leaves and the sun and the moon, it's still worship. And I don't like saying that I worship stuff. But if you're going to tell me like a goddess and fucking trees, I'm way more on board with that shit than I am like some dude in the sky who is mean and wants to flood the planet and kill everything. I would much rather. Number one, goddesses are hot in general. I don't even need to see them. I know they're hot. That's all I have to say about
Period.
And you're looking at you're listening to 3 of them
that.
right now.
Yes.
Because you're not watching this with your eyeballs.
You are not.
But just to give you a description, we are all dressed in gowns. We have full hair and makeup done. It's really a shame that this is just an audio episode because we look stunning, especially me. I look great right now.
And I did not get up at 3:50 this morning and drive 6.5 hours and then take a 1 hour nap and then jump on the pod.
Dedication.
Full glam squad today.
Yeah. Did we do it? Did we do it, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Animals, plants, miracles, animal sacrifice, human sacrifice, obsession with blood, manifestation, protection spells, obsessed with Satan, candle magic, baptism, magic guys, altars, and Easter and Jesus, pagan holidays. And let's see, hypocrisy, hip-hopocracy, men, gays, psychics, gay men, psychics, rapture, whatever.
No, but we did
And
Rapture. I hardly know her.
Prayer and spells. Yeah, we did. We talked about everything.
So the other thing really quick off the top of my head, the donkey jawbone thing, like I think was it Samson? Samson beat a whole army with a donkey jawbone, but then he like lost his powers when Delilah cut his hair. That's witchcraft. Sorry. And Delilah knew what she was doing. She was like, I'm gonna cut this man's hair because I'm an op. Like his powers of fighting were inside of his hair.
I never realized that was a Bible story. I thought that was a Greek mythology thing.
Okay, so here's the thing, Christina. No, you're not done. Let me tell you. It very well might be a Greek mythology thing because there's so many stories that happen in the Bible that are actually mythology from other cultures that have just been co-opted and rewritten because the Bible itself didn't start being written until like 1,000 years later. And the whole time it was just oral tradition that was passed down. So people were just talking these stories, like the creation story that wasn't written down till 1,000 years later. So it's all myth.
Can you imagine that game of telephone? Like the original story, whatever it was, even though obviously we don't believe in it, but like.
Yeah. If we think back to like 1,000 years, like, do we know any stories from back then that have been passed down and kept accurately this whole entire time? No.
We can't get a news story that just happened to be accurate. Like, if something happens an hour ago, they'll tell us a million different things and then be like, oh, actually, it was this instead.
Yeah. So probably Adam came from Eve's rib and he ate the fruit. And
the Easter Bunny came and shit chocolate eggs. And then Santa Claus came down with his sleigh and picked him up and took him to heaven. Also, you said oral earlier, and I'm very proud of myself that I didn't giggle.
Well, you're doing it right now. You're doing it now. No, what I was going to say was like, with all of this being said, if you guys were to have a religion, and I have this question for, like, each of us. So, like, I think I want each of us to answer this question. Like, if
Okay.
you were to have a religion, what would the so-called sacred text be? Like, if it was a book that already exists, or, like, what would be the storyline of this mythical shared myth? And then what would church look like if you were to have a religion that you made up?
That's a good question. Let me think.
Okay, I'll go. While you guys are thinking, here's my thought. Okay, so for me,
Okay.
the sacred text would be the DSM, which is the book that psychiatrists use to diagnose mental health conditions. Like, that would be the sacred text, that would be the Bible. And then church, we would go through Marsha Linehan's dialectical behavior therapy model. Through every week, we would learn a different coping skill for therapy, and we would gather together and we would work on these coping skills. That would be my church.
Okay.
I love that.
Keeping everybody mentally healthy.
Hmm.
I feel like I would know my text, but I don't know what the church would be.
Or what would be your, like, weekly shared activity as a congregation?
Think gardening, getting together, gardening, growing food, sharing resources. If I'm being serious and genuine and not being silly,
Right.
I think that's what it would be. What if I just used the Bible, but I interpreted it how I want to? I'm gonna cherry pick in a different way.
Love that.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna say,
Sounds like a good time.
actually, you have to be gay. Like,
That's what it
that's
means.
clearly what it means, and you're just misinterpreting it. So I think that's what I would do.
Christina?
So I think the book would be my favorite book, called Thief of Always. And the premise of it is this kid is just bored and he hates life. And some guy flies into his window and says, I know a place that's way more fun than this and you'll have fun every day. And so the kid's like, all right. And he just lets this guy kidnap him and take him to this magical house where every day there's all these holidays. So in the morning it's Christmas and at night it's Halloween and everything in between, right? But on the outside world, time is going really fast. And once he finally realizes that this is not where he wants to be, he leaves, and his parents are really old. And he shows up at their door as his same age when he left. And his parents are like near death, right? And so he missed out on this whole life. So I think that would be a guide to like living in the moment and not taking things for granted. And so I think that my church would focus around, you know, being intentional and doing something every day that keeps you grounded.
Because so much of church is, you don't have to do good now or save the world or worry
Exactly.
about global warming because we have this paradise that we're going to.
Exactly. Yeah. You've got to stay in the moment and enjoy the time that you have here because it goes fast. So, yeah, just doing stuff in the community and all the stuff that we try to do anyway as normal, loving human beings without making somebody join our fucking religion.
Right.
Yeah. So that would be it.
Sorry to put you guys on the
No, that
spot.
was a good answer. You know how good we are with being on the spot.
Especially today with delays and technical difficulties and glitches. It's God's fault.
That's how you know that we're doing the right thing,
Yeah.
because God's trying to sabotage us.
We do need to do a protection spell on Saturday, though, because we have to protect Christina Carroll at all costs.
I'll spread my blood on my door frame.
Yes, please do that. Let the angel of Wi-Fi death pass over our houses.
And scene. We done?
All right, we're done. But can you stop recording and then I have to tell you something?
Okay. But let's pretend we're leaving.
Okay.
Bye. It was so great to talk to you guys. Okay, bye.
Hallelujah, I am